Me bum! Me bum!
Guys, welcome. Episode 5 of Two Men In A Cactus with me, Gav, and...
Mitch. Yeah, me, Mitch.
Yeah, me Mitch. So, last week, we were kind of talking about the realities of full-time and being new to this podcast game, right? We were like, yeah, we've recorded enough for like a good 10 to 15 minutes. And when it came to the editing, as you probably saw, if you didn't see the last episode, you can catch that up here. But essentially, the first minute and a half is me taking the mickey out of you.
Yeah. Me not getting
If you haven't seen that, you need to go look. And then it kind of wrapped up quite early, I think about 7-8 minutes.
Something like that, wasn't it?
So like there's so much more to be said there. So we thought we'd kind of continue this week talking about the things that we struggle with and how we deal with them, you know, because going from a job, right, a 9 to 5, not that then all 9 to 5s these days, but, you know, you go home, you clock out and you don't really think about it again.
No.
As we discussed before, like you never clock out with this. So there's lots of things that we both struggle with that we wanted to talk about and how we kind of like navigate them or how we're trying to navigate them. And I kind of want to say, like, we were discussing this off camera, is like the things we talk about in here that we know we want to do, right? We know we should be doing.
Yeah. Definitely.
But we don't. So, you know, I guess that will lead on to you is like, you know, what are some of the things you've realised that we didn't discuss last week that really you didn't expect and that you struggle with, and maybe how you sort of navigate those?
Yeah, for me, it's the hardest thing I've had to deal with is kind of that balance between my family life and part of going full time that we've had conversations about is that getting that that balance in the sense of I will hopefully have more free time to kind of spend time with my family, because as I was kind of leading up to going full time, I was having those kind of two jobs that just meant I didn't have free time, and then when I had free time, it was just trying to cram as much of everything else into it, which just stressed me out all the time. Whereas, so that's been a big struggle for me, and I still have it even now, where like my partner was at work. This is actually, I'm pretty sure it was only a couple of weeks ago, and I ended up having my children all day, and I was feeling guilty that we just sat and watched TV. Yeah. Just sat and watched TV. I thought, well, two things from that was like, I'm doing nothing. I should not be doing nothing. Like, I need to be doing something. Part of it was like, well, maybe I need to do something with my boys, albeit they'd been out literally all the couple of days before doing loads of stuff. So I thought I've got to do something. Or, well, this is time. I could be just picking up a couple of edits, because with pressure from clients, and they're kind of like, can you get this to us? And obviously I'm trying to get things to them as quick as possible, because that's what you want to do, kind of thing. But rather than going, if I'm going to develop the better experience with them, I need to get it to them as quickly as possible, then not giving myself enough time to have me time, have family time. And that's something that I really struggle with. Like, I get quite agitated. I'm just sitting in my PJs with the boys next to me on the sofa watching, I don't know, we're into Harry Potter at the moment, so the boys are, so watching that, and I'm thinking, well, I need to be doing something. I need to go upstairs. I need to get my laptop out. I should be doing something.
You've got work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it's like in the back of your head, isn't it?
Just like as if it's like tapping away.
Exactly.
Someone's like, excuse me,
edits to be done.
Can you look at me, please? And I'm like, no. And I even had a conversation. My partner called me up throughout the day, going, "Oh, you having a good day? Like, what you doing?" I was like almost like pacing back and forth, like in the front room, thinking, I should be doing something. Like, and she's like, no, the boys are fine. Like, they've had a good couple of days doing their things. They just want to spend some time with me, which was really nice and to hear. And so I just kind of just sat down. I was like, try and take a deep breath. But it's something that really gets to me, is that balance and thinking, trying to switch off. And even now I struggle with it. It's just like really hard for me. Like, kind of, what about your experiences? Like, how do you have that kind of issue with that thing?
Well, I'm kind of lucky, obviously. You know, my daughter Mia, she's 16, and she makes her own drinks. She can feed herself, unlike your boys. How old are your boys?
They're 3 and 4. Yeah,
3 and 4.
Almost forgot. Probably
high maintenance at that age, aren't they? Especially boys. Boys are boisterous. But I think for me, it's easier because Mia takes care of herself, and there are times where I think, oh, like this weekend I've got some downtime because my partner's away for the weekend, and it's like, well, it's just me and Mia about. But I was like, well, I've got some edits to do, but I'm almost forcing myself to create that time. I think it really hits with me is like sometimes I just think I'm a little bit stressed with maybe workload, and I'm thinking, right, I'll just go watch some Netflix for a bit, switch off, and I'm sitting there and I watch something, and I'm like thinking, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing that work, but sometimes you really need to step away from it. But for me, definitely struggling with just not working when I've got work to do, because, you know, we're in a fortunate position where, you know, we're both pretty busy. So there's always edits to be done.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of like, right, being comfortable with the fact that, like you say, we did this to have more time.
Yeah.
So you have to switch off. There's no way about it. But I'm just hoping, does it get any easier? Have you been freelancing longer than us? Anyone watching? Because does it get easier? Let us know in the comments.
That's it.
Because we struggle with it.
Yeah, you
completely.
can help us out. You can give us some advice.
Yeah,
on what to do,
yeah.
you know,
We're, like
because-
we said before, we're no experts, right? I certainly experience FOMO. For those that don't know, fear of missing out, and that's, you know, spending time with your family, thinking, am I doing enough? You know, should I be chilling out? Really?
Yeah.
And you know, for me, my fiance, recently engaged fiance, is thanks mate.
Thanks, mate.
She's self-employed, so it's easier for me to, you know, be working at 9-10 o'clock at night because she's got a business and she's dealing with clients and things to do with social media and all the things that, you know, a normal 9-to-5er doesn't. Something that's certainly helped me to set some boundaries between sort of work and family life is having an app on my phone that I actually paid for, because a lot of the other apps let you just go into the settings and bypass it.
Yeah.
And it's just to lock out the phone from things like social media and email. So I have that in a day that helps me to just focus on work. And then when it gets to a certain point in the evening, that kicks in again. And I can't turn that off. So once it blocks it out, it's done. So I generally put my phone away, so I'm not like answering emails, or, you know, a lot of clients will contact you on social media, and it just helps me sort of have dinner with the family, sit down, ask my daughter about her day, and Rach about hers, and cook dinner, and just be in that proper family environment. That's definitely helped me. What about you?
Yeah, well, because I remember because that's not the first app you've used, is it really?
No.
And I kind of like, you mentioned it and then you've used it for a period of time, and I actually I can't remember what it's called.
Screen Zen.
Screen Zen. Yeah, Screen Zen. So I actually used that one off the back of your recommendation, because at the time I was thinking, like, I need to get rid of social media. But how can we get rid of social media?
It's
literally part of the business, isn't it, really? And so I use Screen Zen. And that has dramatically helped me, because I'm definitely a doom scroller, 100%. Whereas, like, for me, especially like in the editing side of things, during a filming day, I'm probably not that much on my phone, because I prefer the filming to the editing.
No,
me neither. What I mean? So I'm kind of call me out. What are you doing? So like any excuse, subconsciously, even that's the term, to just mess and to just be distracted, I am. Whereas it's what Screen Zen has helped with me is I've bumped. You can have access, like you say, but my access, I have to wait a minute. Not like 5 seconds. I have to wait a minute. And in the head, I was like, a minute's a long time. I just end up putting the phone down and then just cracking back on, and that's what really helped with for me. From just that, like, I know for a fact I could probably do a certain type of edit within a couple of hours, but if I'm doom scrolling, it takes literally double as long, and it's probably not as good because I'm not as immersive into the edit. My mind, my thought path isn't there. So the fact that now it just takes that edge off. I literally have my phone on my left hand side of my desk, and I go,
can't look at that.
And then I still, it's good because it hasn't given me that time to get out of that zone. And to concentrate on anything else. I'm still focused on it. So that's really worked well for me. However, I think you're right in what you say. Like, you've moved to the next one because you can still bypass certain things. Whereas I'm like, there are other times where I shouldn't be, but I'll be like, well, a minute is actually acceptable, I'll wait the minute,
Yeah,
and then I'm
yeah.
still out of it. And if I just got that cold turkey thing, which is kind of like you do, I think I could minimise it and be even more efficient by doing that. But like, that's one side of how I'm kind of trying to be more efficient, because what my actual original idea on that was is I want to try and find a way that I can minimize my work time and be more efficient on my work time, because I'm working long hours because I feel like I should be getting an X amount of work done in a day, say.
Yeah.
Which generally you should be, but mine takes longer because I am doing this kind of doom scrolling or being distracted. So then I'm trying to find ways to be more efficient, so my overall work just takes less time to do for a balance side of things. And how I kind of wanted to try and do as well was I can just work and work and work. So like, my boys go to bed at 7 o'clock, and normally, sorry Bev, I kind of just worked up into it, and she would pretty much just feed them, bath them, and then they would go to bed at 7 o'clock. Whereas I don't want to miss those opportunities as well, because when the boys are in the bath and having a bit of a play around, it's cute, it's nice to see how they're doing and eat some food with them. So I kind of, another thing for me, I've tried to go, I'm going to actually try, especially the edit days, well, the edit days mainly, is go, this is a 9 to 5. But try and work it that way, so I can try and stick to it. And ever since I've been doing that in conjunction with my the screen Z, and that, my days have become much more efficient, because I'm setting a time right then. I've got to get work done by that time, rather than it just being, oh, right, I'll stay here till whenever, till I haven't got it done. And then I give myself too much time, and then I'm just faffing around and I don't get it done anyway.
I guess the beauty for you is, though, having this studio here where we're filming this podcast, is that you have to travel to a place of work.
Yes, yeah.
So therefore, when you're away from the office, it's difficult for you to send a video to a client. Like one of my clients yesterday, it's like, oh, can you just send me this download link again? So I had to go into the office at like 9-10 at night. Well, I didn't have to, but I did.
Yeah, and that's this part
because
of the
it was
issue,
there.
Exactly.
But for you, I think the beauty of having this studio is that when you're home, they can message you if you're on your phone at that point. Yeah. But if they're not, like any other business, they're going to have to wait till the next working day.
That's definitely a point.
So that's the difficult thing I struggle with, is saying no, because like you say, you want to offer a better service, you want to keep them happy, and it's like, yeah, all right, I'll send you that, I'll do that now. And it's like 9 o'clock at night, I'm sitting in my PJs because I go to bed early,
as you do,
and I'm like, yeah, okay, get that file, I'm bringing it out of archive, uploading it to Frame.io, emailing the link at 10 o'clock at night, and you're like, if I had a studio, they wouldn't do this. Yeah. But it's not a biggie. But that's something we both struggle with.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure. As much as I love my beautifully converted integral garage, that's now my awesome office. I love it. But the disadvantage is when you're working. Sorry, Rach. My partner Rach, fiance, sorry, she hates partner. She'll come in and go, hey babe, I've just been wondering what shirt to wear. Should I wear this one or this one? Does it go with this? And I'm sitting there like in the middle of an edit, and I'm going like, babe, what are you doing? Like, my missus has got a beauty salon. It'd be like walking in and going, babe, I know you're with a client, like, but which pair of jeans goes best with which trainers? Like, you just don't do that. But because I'm at home, and I love her, it's fine, really. But like, you have that struggle. I can't escape that. I'm there for questions and queries and opinions all the time, and it is a little bit of a struggle, but it's not. I wouldn't swap it, I don't think.
Yeah, for me, obviously, I've got a studio space now where we're filming this. But before, when I was working from home, I had like a little office space, and for me, it was very much my young little boys. They would know I'm home, and they would just they would just come and ask what I'm up to, or just come and chat to me, or just generally whatever they would do. And obviously, when you're home, especially with like younger children, you've obviously got to do your work. We've also naturally going to be a dad as well, aren't you? And as much as I love them, as much as I love my family life and that stuff, it was such a struggle for me because, again, like I mentioned, if I get distracted, it's not just an instant distraction there and then. It'll take me time to get back into it. And it was really affecting my workflow and my efficiency. So the way I thought was best is to try and get a little studio space. And I was able to get a wicked little space that's just down the road. And it's worked really well for business and obviously us being able to do this. But it means I can, as well as trying to take it as a 9 to 5, is I go to work, I literally get in the car, drive to a place, and I can sit down and I can just focus on that rather than having those distractions from little boys running into my office.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is just our experiences, but we want to hear from you. Whether you're a veteran or a newbie within the freelancing industry, we want to hear how you set boundaries on a better work-life balance in the comment section below. See you next week.